I remember I used to cry. Not like broken cry, not like something was wrong with me cry. Just a normal cry, like the way normal human beings cry. When I was sad, I cried. When something happened to someone that I loved, I cried for them. Like sad movies, I cried. A sad commercial, I cried. And I thought that was okay. I thought that was just me. Then one day, in the passenger seat of his vehicle, he said something to me. And I don't remember exactly what it was. Isn't that something? I can't remember. But I remember how I felt. I felt like I was small. Like I was wrong for existing in the way that I was existing. And I started to cry. And in the coldest, most hateful tone, he looked at me and he said, "Why are you crying?" Like, not a question, but it was a weapon, an accusation kind of question. And I looked at him and I looked out the window of the passenger side so he couldn't see my tears. And I made a decision at that moment that I didn't even fully realize I was making. And I said, "I'm not crying." And I never again cried. Not for years. I mean, 7 years, 8 years. I stopped counting at some point because what point was it of counting? It wasn't like there was going to be a finish line. It wasn't like I was waiting it out. I had just stopped. I just stopped crying. I just stopped feeling. I stopped being safe enough to let anything rise to the surface. And here's what nobody tells you of that. It doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't feel like a tragedy while all that's going on. It just feels like you're surviving. You learn to function. You learn to laugh at the right moments, to look fine, to say, "I'm good," when people ask. You learn to be a version of yourself that doesn't need anything, that doesn't feel anything, that doesn't give anyone, especially him, the satisfaction of knowing they got you. And for a long time, I thought I was strong. I didn't realize I was hollow. I was numb. I want to talk about something that doesn't get said enough in the survivor spaces. We talk about abuse, we talk about leaving, we talk about healing, but what we don't always talk about is what happened to your feelings when you lived in an environment where your feelings weren't safe. Because it's not just that he made me feel bad for crying that day. It's that over time and over months and over years, I learned that my emotions were a liability, that feeling anything out loud was dangerous, that grief made me weak, that anger made things worse, and that the best way to get through any given day was to feel as little as possible. This is not strength. That is survival response. And if you are watching this and you recognize yourself in that, if you've caught yourself saying, "I don't really feel things anymore," or "I don't know why, I just can't cry," or "I feel numb and I don't know how to fix this," I need you to hear me when I say, this is not a character flaw. That's what happens when you spend long enough in a place where it wasn't safe to be human. Your feelings didn't disappear. They went underground. They went quiet to protect you. And they are still there waiting. Let me talk about what survivors carry, because I don't think it gets named carefully enough. We carry grief, and not the kind that gets a casserole and a sympathy card. We grieve relationships that were never real. We grieve the years we gave to someone who wasn't worth them. We grieve the version of ourselves that we were before we learned to be and go quiet. There's no funeral for that. There's no society acceptable way to mourn a life you lost while you were still living it. We carry shame, the whispered, relentless kind. Why did I stay? Why didn't I see it sooner? What's wrong with me that I let this happen? And the world sometimes feeds that shame instead of starving it. People say things like, well, why didn't you just leave? Like, leaving is simple. Like, you weren't already managing 100 invisible calculations every single day just to stay safe. We carry anger, and sometimes we don't even let ourselves feel that because we're taught that anger was dangerous or ugly or unladylike or just too much. But the anger's righteous. The anger's earned. You are allowed to be furious at what was done to you. And we carry loss, layers of it, layers of loss, the loss of time, the loss of trust, the loss of the person you used to be before you learned to make yourself small. All of that is real. All of that is valid. And none of that makes you damaged. It makes you human. When we finally broke up for good after all of it, after all the years, I remember the first time I felt something rise up in me and I didn't push it back. I don't know that I can tell you exactly the moment. I just remember thinking, it's safe now. You can feel this. And the feeling came, slowly at first, like a faucet that's been shut off for so long. You're not sure the water will even come through. And then I thought I had forgotten how to cry. I genuinely believed that part of me was just gone. Like he had taken it and I would never, ever, ever get it back. But it came back. And when it did, it didn't feel like a weakness. It felt like coming back to life. And here's what I know now, on the other side of it. Healing doesn't return you to who you were before. I'm not the same woman who got in that car. I'm not the same woman who said, I'm not crying, and then spent the next 7 or 8 years proving it. I became more of who I am now. The feelings that came back, the grief, the anger, the ability to cry at a movie again, or reach towards someone I love, they didn't make me fragile. They made me whole. If you're somewhere in the middle of this right now, if you're still in it, still numb, still not sure you can remember how to feel, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. I'm not going to tell you 5 simple steps to get there. I'm not just telling you what I needed to hear when I was sitting in the hollowness. Your grief is not weakness. It is the proof that you loved. We hoped that we were a full human being who deserved better. And your shame is not the truth. It is a lie that was handed to you by someone who needed you to be small. Your anger is not too much. It is evidence that what was taken from you and your loss, all those layers of loss, deserves to be mourned. Not rushed through, not explained away, mourned. You are allowed to feel all of it. You don't have to perform okay for anybody. You don't have to be further along than you are. You don't have to be anything other than exactly where you are right now. And if you are watching this thinking, I don't know if I can feel anymore, I promise you that capacity is still in you. It went quiet just to keep you alive, but you are safe now. And when you're ready, it will come back. I know, because it came back for me. And if this video reached you, if something in you recognized what I was talking about, leave me a comment. You don't have to say anything big, even just I see this is enough. Because part of this work is knowing that we're not alone in it. And if you're new here, my name is Nanette, and this channel is for survivors who are in the middle of rebuilding. It's not a highlight reel, it's the real work. Subscribe if you want to walk through it with me together. I'll see you in the next video.